Okay. So, so, this is just a video. It's going to probably be a short one, hopefully. Let's pray. It should be a short one. It's just going to go over the video before with just the slides and the information. But I did that video because just to bring what I found on the screen instead of just reading it or something, just so you can see it for yourself, see the people, see what it's talking about, the countries it's talking about, the time frame, right? This is history. This is straight history. And it's funny history because when it started, America wasn't even thought of at the time. It started in 45 BC in Julius Caesar's day. He had a year that was 466 days. The thing that really blew my mind is knowing that New Year's used to be in March. Okay. And throughout these calendar changes, it changed it, the New Year's being in March to January. Now, the point of the whole video and the point of me even talking about this is really, I didn't know. I guess I didn't pay attention to school or something. Maybe they didn't really teach it. I don't really know. All I know is I never knew that they changed the calendar for whatever reason they changed the calendar for. But that should give you, right, that should wake you up a little bit to like really what's around you. It's all an illusion. It's somebody saying, hey, this don't seem right. We got to change it. How do you even know what it, like I said, it goes back to 45 BC. So that's close to 2,000 years ago. Or no, more. Yeah, that's past 2,000 years ago. And if they were doing that then, it's almost like the banana. If you ever known, the banana had mad seeds and 5,000 years ago, so they say, man figured out how to manipulate it to have less seeds. That's insane. That's truth, right? That's like, that should show you or tell you, what are they not telling me? It's as simple as that. What are they not telling me? Right? Who decided this? Right? If you read through that and if you even do your own research and check it out yourself, just look into like the calendars and stuff like that, even in different countries, because you'll be surprised. Other countries don't do things like we do over here. Even though it's dominating though. And you get in within that information I provided in that video, you see there's a lot of Christianity behind it. Catholic Church is behind it. Rome is behind it. It was a calendar of Rome. It stemmed from England because, like I said, America wasn't even in 1752. That was right before 1776. So they changed the calendar before America became America. Well, I guess the 13 colonies were there, right? Or there were territories, but it's an England thing, right? It stemmed from England, originated in England, and we're gonna make this decision and go. And they went or Rome Catholic, whatever you want, however you want to look at it. That's why I always say, no matter what war was fought in the world, in the whole world, the enemy has always won. And I know that's crazy because I'm saying that Memorial Day just passed. And listen, I'm down with the veterans all day long. I think they're forced into the things that they do. I don't really like any soldier I talk to, like friends, family, is not really good stories, man. And I was just talking to a friend yesterday about this military movie that was on. It's called Stop Loss. I think it was on HBO. Stop Loss. And that I didn't even know that was a thing. So stop loss in the military is when your time is done that you signed up for, and now they need you. So it's involuntary assignment, so to speak. So now you're forced to go back. And in the movie, the guy was a sergeant that led a few people into battle, but lost a few people. He was at this hospital visiting his friend that lost his leg and his arm and all this stuff. So it was deep. He still went back. At the end of the movie, he did go. He did go. But what, like, in essence, what are we really fighting for? Right? What does war really bring? Like, that's the one thing we should learn from any history is, what does war even bring? Right? Like, what the hell? even to the fact, like, listen, I don't know if you got Snapchat, but I go on Snap. I think I said it in this video before, but I go into Snapchat, and I just did it maybe like at 9 o'clock, because it's 10 o'clock where I am right now. So at 9 o'clock, I just did it, and I Googled what wars, because, you know, I hear about the war going on in the Middle East with Iran, I think. So I look into who's at war right now, right? And then I go on Snapchat, and if you never knew, if you press on your profile thingy and you get into that your settings and stuff, you know, where your settings are, you scroll all the way to the bottom, and there's a location thing. Okay. And in that location thing, you tap on that, and it's going to bring you where you are in your universe, right? And you're wherever the hell you are at the moment. And then you can minimize it. Okay. And then you can see the whole world as far as, yeah, you can see the whole, all the countries. Okay. I've been over in South Korea on Snapchat. So today there's Snapchats coming out of Iran. There's Snapchats coming out of Iraq. There's Snapchats coming out of all the areas over there, which is crazy. Like the South Korean one, I only saw that dude. Like, that was crazy. Or like reference to the guy that runs it over there. But today I did it in the places that are supposed to be at war. And there's people partying, there's people drinking, there's people smoking weed, there's people smoking hookahs, there's friends in the car giggling. Like, it's just like Christmas. I did this around Christmas too, and almost everywhere is Christmas trees and Christmas lights all over the world, and you wouldn't think it though, right? The things they tell us about, like war and stuff like that, you would think that over there is just messed up, and it is. These people are freaking. I did it to Africa. I went to Africa. Africa be getting it in. I want to go to Africa and party because they be getting it in. Okay, they be getting it in. And listen, all the surroundings of anywhere you look is going to look different because it's different. There's different. They did things differently in different places. Like, they built houses differently. Like, if you just go from New Jersey to New Mexico in, Albuquerque, New Mexico, you're going to see adobo houses. You're not going to see the houses you see in New Jersey. You might see some. I don't. Maybe. Who knows? I don't really know. So it's amazing how they just changed the calendar. It was a 300-year process. So that means the people that even started it didn't see it all the way through. So it was that much of a process. What else? Just, it just like you. That's why I said, that's why I'm trying not to have no Bible talk today or anything in that category. Just, besides mentioning that a lot of the forefront of pushing this calendar like it was the Catholic Church, and Christians, right? And then, like, once you start digging into some of this information, it's almost like saying there's always like a Jewish guy behind everything because they're so smart, they're money savvy, like they know how to get it done, they know how to, they know how to do their things with their money. Just like in the movie Casino with Robert De Niro, right? He was the Jewish guy, the accountant. And he handled the money. Titans loved it. You'll be surprised that there's a Christian behind everything too, or a so-called Christian, I should say, a so-called Christian, or no, you know what? I could just say straight Christian. But they ain't even no so-called, because Jesus wasn't a Christian, nor did he advocate for Christianity. He didn't build a church. He said the world was that church. He didn't build a building. He didn't build a house. I'm not knocking Paul. Paul came from a religious background as of that, where they had temples and places of worship. And he brought that into Christianity, thinking it needed some organization. But it wasn't based upon the true followers of Jesus Christ. And I'm not talking about just the 11 disciples. Here I go talking about, I ain't even talking. All right, so back to the calendars now. So, look, and I got some more light today too. I'm gonna try to get a light. It's just that my little area, I like to be closed out. Like, I'm opposite of claustrophobic. What else about that damn calendar? So that, that's pretty much it. Like, look into the history. Look into like how we were formed, so to speak. Like you look into Freemasonry, you'll find out there's a lot of world leaders that claim to be Freemason. Like this is a real group. That's a real thing. It ain't like it's a conspiracy theory. It's a real thing. It might be a conspiracy theory on like, you know, whatever, you know, the Masons and all the symbols, and but it's true too. All you gotta do is it may be a conspiracy as far as like people talking crap about it and making videos about it and stuff like that, like, you know, almost about 9/11, right? There's all type of conspiracy videos, but there's truth. There's truth. And the truth is there were definitely Freemasons. Okay. They were an organization that went back in the day, like from the stuff I did as early as the 1700s, but there was something that I found that said something like 949 AD. But like that's a real group, right? So if this real group, okay, is world leaders, especially at their time, like George Washington was a Freemason, Winston Churchill was a Freemason, Stalin, the dude that ran Russia, was a Freemason. Who else? Franklin D. Roosevelt was a Freemason. They claim there was only 8 Freemasons when America first was built, like as far as like the first leaders. But then there's a speculation up to like 24 out of 50 something. So like you gotta like sometimes 1 + 1 = 2. It's as simple. Like I don't even know how else I could explain it, but that's the simplest way to explain it. Like if you don't know, like in like put yourself in their shoes, in essence. Like say you and a bunch of your closest friends got together, you got some powerful positions, and you're looking to bring, you know, listen. That's why there's no true. I don't even know how I can say this. There's no good and evil is not what we think it is. Okay. And if it was, all of us do good and evil all the time. Now, what do I mean by that? Because whoever thinks something is good thinks is good. So when they see someone else doing the opposite of what they think is good, they think is wrong. But the problem is this: that person that they think is wrong thinks what they're doing is right, and then they look at this person like they're doing it wrong. Almost like the Christian-Muslim debate, right? Almost like the science and God debate, right? Come on. So who's right? Right? And most of it is really just speculation. Right? I'm working on my next Did You Know video, or it might be How They Know. I don't know how I'm gonna title it yet, but it's gonna be based on like some science stuff. Some like, how do they know the earth is as deep as it is, right? And how can you explain it to me? Because I know when I say this and people hear it, they're gonna be like, oh, this is why, because all my friends do it. Right. And I'm going to say to them, well, tell me in your own words. Because what they're going to do is, and what we all do is we're going to use reference. Well, this professor over here said this scientist over here said this, and it was confirmed by this scientist over here, not realizing there's another scientist that disagrees with all of those scientists. And then there's another scientist that disagrees with that scientist. And then, like, there's like everything that we think we know as truth, as fact. I can't even call it truth. As fact, worldly knowledge is not. I can't get more simpler than that. And that's what I'm proving through the Did You Know videos. What is that? The Did You Know videos and whatever other video I've tried to put together. I got in trouble when I made the video because of the music in the background. I guess it belongs to someone. So I'm gonna be making my own music soon. I got some things coming that I'm gonna try to make my own music, so I don't have to worry about nothing. That's why I take my own pictures. When I make that video, all them pictures in the beginning, the live pictures of the sky and stuff, I took those pictures. I'm not a professional, but I'll figure out how to put it up here so I can make it work without using somebody's background. I don't even want to use the program's backgrounds. I don't want to use nothing. I just want to make my own stuff. I see what they got. I'm gonna make something just like it in my own way. Or in the Father's way, because that's the only drive I have anyway. But like our history is jacked. Like there was a video on YouTube and it's gone. It's gone. Like it's so gone. I can't find even a clip of the video. It was like a 2.5 to 3 hour video. And it was just about America in the last like 200 years. And it was insane. The things, and this guy worked for like, you know, I guess he worked for He worked for somewhere in intelligence and so. But then he came out with this video, like breaking down this video. And it probably was like an anonymous video or so. But the dude was on there talking. But it was just deep. It just broke down like the centralized banking system and how they play a part in things and how the wars in essence really started. Right? Like people think that like it was all Hitler that caused these wars to go down, and it wasn't. Like he got added into, right? If you really do the history, he got added into. And and I think he was faking the funk, but it is claims that he was a Freemason too. So now all the world leaders in the world at that time are all Freemasons. Okay, even though I guess they like band-aided it up because now they take Hitler out of even being a Freemason, that he was an assumed Freemason that didn't really like Freemasons. So not only were they against the Jews and this one, all the Nazis, but now they're against the Freemasons too. So like sometimes they try to confuse you. See, like knowledge is power in the world, and the God and the Father says something about our knowledge as men on earth. Okay, and what I'm saying about that is knowledge is power, especially when you control the knowledge. Right. And the key is this: if you have no way to see it yourself, right? This is most people's arguments with atheists and people that don't believe in God. How can you not believe in God? Because I can't see it, feel it, touch it, right? It's the same concept. Right? Or did you shoot outer space? So how do you even know? And then you're gonna make an argument with somebody else because they don't believe? Come on. Right? Where's the love in that if you're a Christian? Right? Where's the love in that if you're a Christian and you just tell science, no, you don't believe in God, you're the devil? That don't make sense. God created the devil. How about that? Shoot. It ain't like what's up, freedom fighter? It ain't like that. Like right, that it's sometimes I get lost for words because it's so ironic. Like I can't, like that's why I always say I'm not the smartest tool in the shed, because I don't even know how I know what I know. Right? I was just talking, me and my friend was just talking yesterday, and he was like, yo, you've been reading these things for a while now. And I was like, hell yeah. Like if I showed you under my desk, all I have is he could tell you too. All I have is stacks and stacks of papers. From the book of Jasher, the book of Adam and Eve, all three of them, the Bible, the Quran, the Nag Hammadi text. I got all the books of Enoch, or which ones are claimed to be Enoch, and the ones that aren't. I got apocryphas of Abraham, Seth, Noah. What else? I got binders and binders full of stuff, right? Thank God for the internet, because sometimes you just come across people that already did the concepts of looking at these things. That's why I like a guy, Bart Ehrman, right? If you feel it, you're a Bible thumper and you believe the infallible word of God is in that book, the Bible, the 66 books, then go see Bart Ehrman, because he is, listen, just, I ain't even gonna say no more. His name is Bart Ehrman. He is a historian. You probably seen him if you watch any Ancient Aliens or anything about anything Bible on National Geographic. He's usually one of the people speaking. But he's a true, like, I think he is off a little bit because he just doesn't believe in God anymore. I don't even think he believes in a higher power. That's how deep his research and stuff is brought. Like, I'm talking about years. I ain't talking about like, oh, he's I don't even know how old he is. He's got to be in his like 50s or 60s. And he's been doing it since he was a kid. He started out as a Christian in a Christian house, and then got the bug, so to speak, like that Christian bug where you just, I believe Jesus is my Lord and Savior. And you start running and you start Bible thumping to everyone else. And he did that. He wanted to be the best at it. He wanted to defend it to the T. And then he came to the realization after seeing, like, in essence, we don't have any originals of anything. And anything that they say that we have a full copy of doesn't even come until after the 4th century. And that's truth. All right, look it up. There's only fragments found from any time before that. Fragments. And some of those fragments don't even line up. That's why you got, this is like the calendar. You got to do your history. You got to look into it, especially if you want to believe. Listen, that's the same. I got the same Bart Ehrman story. I went to the Northeast Biblical Institute here in Jersey. Like I was learning hermeneutics. I was learning apologetics. I wanted to know. And then I came across this teacher that kind of like irked me a little bit. Like, he's supposed to be a Christian, right? You're supposed to be there to help me. You're supposed to be there to help me understand. And I'm asking him about why this book ends in this, and the book we have with them begins in another copy or in another book. Like, I don't understand. And it was something that used to be within this book, but now you deny that in this book. So how can you argue that? That's the same argument I have with anyone that thinks they're a Hebrew Israelite or a black Hebrew Israelite. It's the same argument. You can't say, oh, the book of Ezra and erase every other book. Oh, yeah, the book of Enoch. No. The book of no. But this Ezra book, that's the one. What the hell are you talking to? Shut up. Right? And if your God is the God that they claim he is, then how can the lost tribes be found, so to speak? And then how do they all of a sudden in that ideology or theology, whatever you want to call the Black Hebrew Israelite movement, how all of a sudden it become all the minorities in the world? Like, are you serious right now? So you're definitely divided. So now you just put all the white people in one section, okay? And then you just take all the Latinos, the blacks, and anything else in between over here, and you throw them over here. And you say, these are the lost tribes of Israel. But those white dudes, they're the devil. They're Esau. How is it even divided? Like, come on. Oh, my God, you can go there. I said I wasn't going to go there. I'm going to go there. So, yeah. So, like, I'm working on a video just about space. Like, it bothers me with space. Like, how do you know? And, like, hopefully these ain't dumb questions. You don't think, like, oh, man, this dude never went to elementary school. No, I did. And I paid attention because I had a fond enthusiasm for those subjects, like space and astrology and astronomy. Like, I had history, man. I had Raiders of the Lost Ark kind of passion. Like, I wanted to know. I want to know the secrets. I want to know this. I want to know, like anybody else, right? And listen, some of the stuff we don't really pay attention to what the hell they're telling us, right? I don't know if they're like, I'll say this. Bart D. Ehrman, that's the man. I'll say this. Like the virus, right? The COVID. And listen, it's like not that. Like, I believe anyone that dies, I'm going to see again. So that just understand that. Like, I believe what Jesus said, let the dead bury their own dead, because I'm not dead. And when I die, I'll be alive. But my mom died of COVID. So let me just put that out there. So it ain't like I'm trying to hate on COVID. I don't think it's a real thing per se. I think it's a setup in a sense. I think it's more of a control thing. And you can see that today. Like, honestly, hopefully they'll never force me to get a vaccine. Not that I'll even be forced to get one, because they might as well just take my life. But if there's ever a zombie apocalypse, we already know who the zombies are gonna be, so to speak. But the reason why, and like I said, my mom, I have a bunch of people that I know in my life that died throughout this time, like at least a half a dozen, and probably even more than that, which is sad. But everyone was blamed with COVID, no matter how you died, so to speak. And my mom had some underlying things. Not that she was unhealthy. Maybe whatever they did to the world did affect her somehow. But this is the point. I know for sure that it takes a certain amount of time to come up with medicines, especially in a vaccination state, right? And it's not just a few days or a few years even. It's not even 5. It's like more than 10 or more, right? And then all of a sudden, this is the first time, in essence, in our lifetime, or even just in general, I guess there were some rumors that they had that wear masks back in like the early 1900s. But all of a sudden, overnight, this blast of coronavirus at version 19, all of a sudden hits the world with such an impact that now we're forced to wear masks and stand 6 feet apart, and they shut the world down and all this stuff happens. But you don't think they're trying to control things? You don't think someone truly knows if it is bullshit or not? And those people aren't telling us, and maybe not even the people under them. Like the corruption, if you want to call it that, in the world comes from a very top level. Like, I don't believe half the doctors are, I don't believe half the medical professionals really, truly know. But I say that lightly because it's almost like me saying, I don't think like that extreme pastor, like that pastor that's been here and been preaching the word for decades, right? And for me to think that that person don't know the truth, like I've read the Bible front to back. Even I read, listen, I don't know if I ever said this on it, but I don't care. This is when I was younger. I read it on shrooms. Like, this is how much the Father impacts me, or even just thinking of life, right? That I was on shrooms, mushrooms, the hallucinant mushrooms. I read the Bible front to back. And I probably did it 1.5 times because the thing was talking back to me at the time. I did it on acid, okay? LSD type things. Did it, okay? I have a passion. When I'm drunk or anything, I don't drink or anything like that no more. But when I'm back in the day when I was drunk, that's all I talked about. Like, this is the only thing that rests in my mind is life. What's the purpose? Where am I going? Who do I follow? Period. Because, like, I don't know how much you like life. And not saying, like, I'm sending out, I'm ready to go, right? If the Father calls me now, there's no hard feelings. I'm ready. Peace. I'm out, right? See you on the flip side. See you when you get there. If any of us get there, whatever, right? That's me. But I also don't think it's just some scientific chance random act that this all came to be. I don't think it's because there's some theories that say there's a God, but then God walked away and then all this stuff. That don't make sense. Right? If you had a kid, if you have a family member that you truly loved, or even you loved your parents, like, you see that bond of a creation level. You see that bond of life. You see that love of life. And that, granted, all people ain't the same. So there might not, there's some people out there that can throw their baby in a garbage can, wrap it up in a bag, and just be done with it. There are, but I bet you they're thinking in their head, like, there's something going on in their head, and most likely they're gonna get addicted to something if they're not already, and they're gonna OD or something sooner or later because they're trying to erase themselves from life. Right? That's the problem with everything in our life, and especially in our societies. The problem in our societies hold us to this like binding way of life and give us no other option, right? Why is it for you to go to school and get educated to an extreme level, you need to go broke first? That doesn't make sense to me, right? Like, the welfare system don't really make sense to me, because if I was the guy in charge of the welfare system and I had all these people that a lot of people complain about that's on a welfare system, which a lot of people think is like blacks and Hispanics that eat it all up, and you got to do your research because you'll find out that it's probably a big, like, 75% is white. Either way, we all have our stereotypes, right? But and a predominantly of those are of the Jewish heritage or the Jewish religion, because they don't work and their houses are temples. And once the man doesn't work because he dedicates his life to the temple, here comes the women that, they have some kids and they get taken care of. Either way, if I control the welfare system, best believe I got employees for the whole government, whatever I need, right? I need some court clerks. Hey, you're collecting welfare. Here we go. You can't find a job. I got you. Right? Unemployment. These things are easily correctable. Even to right, illegal alien type stuff, right? Immigrants. Hey, what's the real problem with the ones that are here already? And well, when they used to always argue that shit, and then probably in the next election they'll be arguing it again too, because I'm pretty sure they did it, like, they knocked Trump for it too, right? So either way, what's not to make them legal? So let's say this, right? Let's say, because the argument is they're taking our jobs and stuff. So let's say 25% of the worst workforce in America are illegal immigrants, and they're undocumented, so to speak. So in essence, they're not paying taxes. They're not doing anything that the American does. Okay. I think it's a higher number than 25%, but we're going to go with 25%. So now, if you legalized the ones that are already here, they already have grandchildren here. Okay. If you just legalize them, doesn't that swallow up that 25%? Now they have to go the American way, right or wrong? Like, I don't understand what the problem is in the first place. Like, yes, okay, you're worrying about criminals, but I think that's all. Listen, I'm in the world, right? I like going to New York City. I'll go walk through New York City, man. I see mad people all the time, and I don't see anyone racially beefing with each other unless there's something on the news. Maybe you might see that, but I haven't seen that, right? In any job that I have, yes, there's ignorant assholes out there that put it like, I was a manager at this warehouse, right? And when I started and I met with the operations manager, he was like, well, how would you, I had to get rid of the warehouse manager, but for whatever reason, we want to bring you in. And he asked me, I asked him, well, can I come in as I want to come in? And he said, what does that mean? I said, well, can I just come in? Like, let's say for the first week, I'll just come in as like, just introduce me as just a regular employee, right? This is a new guy and let me get to know the people, right? And there was this one guy, he was the coolest guy. Okay. I love the guy. He was the coolest guy, but he was brought up in a certain part of New Jersey that is kind of, not that they're racist, like, because so much racism right now is so secondhand, or not, like smoking, right? This is like fifth hand smoking racism. This ain't true racism. Like, racism was true when they were hanging people and fighting and stuff. That's racism. That nowadays it's talk, and most of the time when it comes out on a racist level, it's all about pulling the race card in essence. Right? Like, if you're honest with yourself, if you're looking for truth, then you'll see that for what it is, because how can anybody even be freaking racist today? Right? If anything, the minority has a bigger chance than a white guy. So where is this white privilege people bitch about? And if white privilege was true, would Eminem be the only white rapper that we all really know? And I ain't talking about Beastie Boys. I'm not talking about Vanilla Ice, because Vanilla Ice came and he gone, and everybody forgot about damn Vanilla Ice as soon as Eminem hit the scene. But who do you know since? So come on, right? There's privileges in any club that you're a part of, right? That's why I say most people in situations like that and stuff. The problem is this. The enemy is winning because now that they got you feeling this low, you're so low that you're thinking what they have is the best in the high, and now you're fighting for what they have. So you're fighting into their system. So they got you choosing to claw your way up their ladder. Get what I'm saying? Like, that's truth. And it's not truth where, oh, we should go get them all, or we should, rebel. Or no. What does that do? Because sooner or later in your rebellion, you're going to become them. It's inevitable. It's inevitable. Right? It's like watching the Gladiator movie, because I just watched it. And I watched it for the first time in like a while without commercials. And throughout the time when Maximus came back to Rome, this is a perfect example. Besides the whole point of the movie, like with the king wanting to give Rome control to Maximus so he can give control back to the people, which was wrong too. But he didn't want to be known as the tyrant, or he knew kingship was wrong in the first place. He knew his son was next in line, was going to be crazy. He knew this. Anyway, who really controlled Maximus staying alive? Like, if it was up to the king, he would have killed him already, right? He was trying to take him out, right? That's how serious it was. Even at the end, he stabbed him. He had to get a handicap on the guy. Like, he even stabbed him at the end. Like, I'm going to win this, bitch. No. The people controlled him, right? There was a point where he said to Maximus, especially in the beginning, he gave him the thumbs down. And the people said, what? Live, 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 live. He had to... he had to pick it back up. That's you. You're that power, right? This is the whole point of any. That's the good news. You're this power. And the Father needs you to fight, so to speak. That's the good news. You're the power. You're put here to express this power so we can bring it to it. That's why there's evil. You know, if you look at people as being evil, there's people that are evil that are just as powerful. Inevitable. If there's a positive, then there's got to be a negative. Okay. But if you find a balance, that balance is within you. So it's smooth, right? Like, that's how I live life now. Like, yes, I grew up fighting all the time and rebelling against the man and the system. And my mom used to always say, God rest her soul, she used to always say, why are you just being a puppet on a string? And I'm like, Mom, I'm not no puppet on no string. I'm the leader of this. Okay? I'm the one they're following around. Little did I know, I was the biggest puppet on the string. Okay? I mean, fines and stupid ass times I had to go to the police station for just stupid stuff. Like, because I was rebelling so hard in this one town. I ain't gonna bring up the town or nothing, but I was rebelling. Like, they used to lock me up for littering. Like, if somebody flicked a cigarette too close to me, it was you, and they locked me up. Like, seriously. I could have probably had harassment suits and everything, but whatever. Bygones are bygones. Forgive them, for they know not what they do. Right? Like, that's how you got to be. Like, that's the whole point of the good news and of Jesus, in essence, because that's all he's telling you to do. Don't believe what everybody else is telling you that he's telling you to do. I heard a preacher today, right? As I'm taking this ride, I hear this preacher. He's preaching some solid stuff, right? He's like, I don't like, or what did he say? He said, I'm scared of religious people. I love this pastor. He's so real. But what he doesn't comprehend is he is that religious person he's talking about. He's in that church saying it's the house of God. And in essence, he's not wrong, but he's not right, because he's making the house of God so small. Right. And he was talking crap about other churches and other pastors and how they make moves. So that's not a Jesus way. You can't talk about a Joel Osteen or any other prosperity preacher that you don't really agree with, and you're saying they're not preaching the right word because they're preaching at everyone, or prosperity preaching. What does that even mean? Right? They are preaching some dumb shit. How? Because they're saying if you pray hard enough, you can have it all. And that's not true. It's true and not true. It's not true for the material world, but it is true for the Father world, the gifts of just life, the gifts of what he wants to give to you. And if you walk through that gift, man, oh man, you'll be sailing high. Like, I'm not saying I'm sailing high where you see me on MTV Cribs, but I'm not struggling. I'm not struggling. And even if I was struggling, then I guess it was meant to be, right? And I got to cope and learn how to deal with less, right? That's the advantage of a poor guy versus the disadvantage of a rich guy. The poor guy already knows what to do with nothing, right? How many of us know family members or been a family ourselves that our mom just makes this 6-course meal when our cabinets are bare? Come on, man. Like, it's all about that love. It's all about, man, I've seen it. I've seen people come out of nowhere with everything on a platter, right? From nothing. I've seen it. Right. I made myself, I don't know if I said this ever on a video, but I made myself homeless. I was so messed up. I was 25 years old. Okay. 25 years old. Had a great job. Just bought a brand new car. Was about to move with my girlfriend at the time. And then something like went off in my mind. And it's like I saw the world for truly what it was, and I was tired of acting like I didn't see it for what it was, because so many times in my life, people were telling me it is what it is. And I'm saying it isn't because I see it's not. Right? And that's all of us as kids. Think about it as a kid. And this is why Jesus, sorry to bring up Jesus, but this is why Jesus brought up, because I don't want anyone to watch the video and think I'm religious, because I am zero religion. I am not Christian, Muslim, Buddhist, Hindu. I'm nothing. I represent nothing. The only thing I represent is life and the creator of that life. That's all I represent. And that's like, I got Muslim friends. I have Jewish friends. I have Christian friends. I have Catholic friends. I have atheist friends. I have scientist friends, doctor friends, lawyer friends, all types of friends or people that I associate with, right? They're all my brothers and sisters, but some maybe friends and some are just people I come across or something like that, right? Let me tell you something. All of a sudden, I just saw it for what it was. Right. So much so that at the company I worked for, I was the assistant manager. My best friend for the last 10 years at that moment was the manager. Okay. I just, like, in my mind, I look at my man, my friend across from me, and I'm like, hey man, I think I'm done. And he was like, what are you talking about? I was like, yeah, man, I'm done. He said, what does that mean? I said, I don't know, but I'm done. I quit. Right. So I go to Rob and my boy, and I say, hey man. And they loved me there. They didn't want me to leave at all. Like, I used to get so much money out of it. This was a warehouse. It was a makeup from a company from France. It was like I don't want to say their name, but it was like a makeup company, or facials and aging creams and stuff like that. So I used to get like hundreds of thousands of dollars out the door a day. So they loved me. Okay. And I used to do this shit by myself sometimes. So I go to them and I'm like, yo, man, I got to go. They offered me $28 to stay. This is in 2001. And I was like, and I was only like, I started at the job at 850. At this point, I'm the assistant manager. So now I finally got to be at like 14. And then they're offering me 28 to stay because they were moving the company to another part of New Jersey, and they wanted me to go with them. And I was like, I looked at my friend and I was like, dude, you know me. And then he offered me the 28. And I was like, come on, man. You know money don't drive me. And I walk outside, go to get my car. He stops me again. He's like, dude, there's nothing I can do. And I was like, dude, come on, man. You've been my best friend for how long? Like, all through everything, through high school. Like, I've always been like, you know, some people might have called me an asshole or something, but it wasn't a bad asshole. It was more like I was stern and I didn't give in. Right. I stood up. I didn't do dumb shit. I didn't fall into like, hey, let's all jump off the bridge together. That wasn't me. Right. I might have been the dude that was like, hey, let's all jump off this bridge together. But, you know, I wasn't like that, because I wasn't like that. But I was like a bully basher. Like, I hung out with the nerds and the misfits. That was me. And I hung out with the jocks and the popular people too. Right. I used to be popular, but I never recognized my popularity, because for what? Like, who am I in essence, right? This is what we do. The whole world, all we do is look for recognition from everything else, right? Why do we celebrate Memorial Day? Not taking nothing from anybody that celebrates Memorial Day, but why do we? Because soldiers want recognition for fighting so hard for our country. And I agree. I agree. They shouldn't be homeless. I agree. They should have no more needs once they go and hit that front line. No more need. Yeah, they shouldn't have no more need. That's another thing. If I was in the government, that's what I would do. I would take it. How can you not? But look, throughout all of history, with kingdoms, governments, nations, no matter what it is, they always treat their soldiers like shit. Once their service once most of their soldiers serve their purpose, what do I need you for? Right? That's why I say half the wars end in some type of peace talk. So what was the whole war about in the first place? No, that didn't do anything, right? Everybody's just punching at each other. Shoot some rockets, blow this up, throw that over there. Boom, 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 boom. Right? All this is going on. But then in the office somewhere, hey, you know what? All right, if you give me these territories, or it's like Braveheart, right? What happened in Braveheart? Hey, to all the people that was down with Braveheart at first, right? William Wallace, when they were first down with him, they were all the other towns leaders, right? And then all of a sudden, the king dude from the Scottish dude, hey, I'll give you this, and this, and the rights of this, and this. And next thing you know, yeah, William Wallace, who? I don't know. We're gonna ride our horses away. That's what happens, right? But that's all of us, and that's every day. This thing goes on every day. That's why the second coming of what's it explained in the Bible is all of us coming to that consciousness of understanding. And then death stops, crying stops, pain stops. I promise you that. Why? Because then the people, it stops because we finally find love. We find love for everything and everybody, because everyone can't be right. And I'm not saying everyone's wrong, right? Everyone can't be right. And I'm not saying that everybody's wrong, but everybody can't be right. So it's either you show me in a Jesus light, miracles. I want to see some stuff. I want to see some things going on. If not, and then I want to see, like, that's the whole key on why I believe in Jesus, right? There's Jesus. And then there's his 11 boys, right? That you get most of the story about. And you never hear about the other people, right? You never hear, right? You hear about the 72. You hear about another time he sent out some, And you never know if because these are in two different books that they might have been talking about the same story, but either way, I believe he did miracles. I believe all that. Why? Because it echoed till now, right? But what don't you hear echoing from now? Followers of his followers, you don't hear echoing to now with miracles. But you hear Peter did some miracles. John did a miracle. James, right? You hear certain, you hear the stories, right? Don't forget, Philip and Thomas went somewhere else, right? One of them went over to Ethiopia. Damn, how strong are they in Christianity? Look into that because they're strong. They even got original books, I think, out there. Okay, they got Bibles. Man, go to Ethiopia. Check that out. Right, Ethiopia. I'm pretty sure it's Ethiopia. Check that out. Right, and then one of them went to India. So, like, Indian got a deep ass philosophy. It ain't like they might believe in 10,000 million gods, but these are all different personalities of just like some people put like the Pharaoh thought he was a god. The people thought Pharaoh was an incarnate of the god, the sun god. Almost every god story has a story as that, right? It's usually a man that's representing this god. And the Vikings, Ragnar, and he was Odin. Like you got to look like and just look at all the gods and all these different traditions and stuff, and you'll see. Just like in the Catholic Church, the people they pray to Mary, they pray to Peter, John, the Archangel Michael. You can line those up with Greek and Roman gods. Jupiter is claimed to be just like Peter. Mary is in reference to I think not Isis. Damn it, there's another one, right? Even to the whole Blessed Mary prayer, right? There's scripture that where a woman says that to Jesus, blessed is your mother's vagina. Like I'm paraphrasing it because it was funny. But blessed is their birth and hips because she brought forth you. And he said, hell no. He said that. He said, no. Why would her vagina be blessed? Like, I don't get it. Like, are you serious right now? Right? And we're not supposed to pray to no one else but one person. So it makes sense. But some people it don't make sense too. So what else? Let's see. Yeah. So anyway, so back to the job. So then I just told my boss that I went home. I went to my mom. I said, Mom, I want to be homeless. She was like, you're crazy, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, Jesus was homeless. And she's like, you're not Jesus. And I'm like, but Mom, I already quit my job. And she was so mad. And then I just left. Like I left and I never looked back. And I still talk to my mom and stuff. But I went straight. Well, I didn't go right away. It took me like a month because I had some money saved up and stuff. So I was still in that like, do I really like? All of a sudden it was like, do I really want to do this? Like my mom was like, you're not Jesus. Why would you? Jesus only could be homeless. Like in reference to that, like that's how the church preaches. Like Jesus only, but he was homeless. Said, give all your money to the poor. And then probably like a month in. I started sleeping in Central Park. I slept on high school buildings. I was always around Jersey. Like I used to walk all around from like one North Jersey to South Jersey, from South Jersey to more North Jersey. I used to always be in the city a lot. And I met some awesome people, especially in New York. Like there were so like, especially at the time, because I guess it was early 2000s. So like, it was more of a homeless population and stuff. And I was playing chess with veterans from like wars in like the 60s and stuff. Like, and they were just telling me these stories. Like, and this is like a lot of stuff that and I know the Father brought me to that spot at that time just to talk to those guys, man, to see how they felt about Vietnam and stuff they were involved in that they felt like they shouldn't have been a part of, like, and they're forced into it, and then they lose their family sometimes because people get lonely, and if you're going, like, come on, man, there's so much heartbreaking stories, but they still had that faith, and they purposely were homeless, just like me. Like they didn't care, right? They were just going, they were old school. They were like, hey, man, we're just gonna chill here, man. That's it. And they survived together. I used to always end up in this, like, not bad, but Patterson, New Jersey, at this one gas station every damn Sunday, man. and these like drug addicts, and it was like 5 o'clock in the morning, 5:30. It was like all the night creepers are still out, and not if I would be absolutely lying if not every single time one of them came up to me and say, "Hey man, can you tell me what life's about?" And all of a sudden I'm like a preacher on the corner, and all these people are around me, and I'm like, I gotta go. I can't be here right now. This is too much. I gotta go. But that's how much passion I got. I gotta know. And in that course, there was this one day. Like I don't get hungry like that. And there's this one day I had this pain, man. And it was such a pain. I had to sit down. And this lady comes around the corner and gives me a butter roll and a coffee and says, "God bless." And prior to that, like the night before, I was just like, not that I was having doubts, but like sometimes when you're on your journey, you're kind of expecting, like, as far as being almost immature on your awakening. And you look at it like, all right, cool. He's going to know I'm faithful. I gave up everything. And then he's going to give you everything. Right? That's the wrong expectation. Almost. It's almost like a wrong. It's man's thinking. Right? How can the Father, in essence, not saying he doesn't put you in these places, but how could he bless you with all of that's material and against him? Right? Like, that's really the whole truth of them. Everything in the world is against God. The medical field is against God. Science is against God, no matter what their intent. They don't realize it, but they're against God. But in essence, right? In the book, the Father does say, "Well, I'm going to make that evil good." So now, yes, what they're doing is wrong, but it's good because what they're proving is the truth, right? No matter what evolution dude is talking evolution, or whatever scientist is telling you, especially when it comes to like atoms and stuff, they always get down to another thing that they can't explain, right? The same thing with space. They get to these, or so they say, they get to these certain spots that they looking in these telescopes, and they can't explain. They look at these things in the ocean sometimes. Like there's a place where the water just drops in and they can't explain. There's a lot of the medical field can't explain 127 days. They call it, they probably first time, because most doctors are atheists anyway. They probably called it a miracle. That was a miracle. I don't even believe in miracles, but that was a miracle. That shouldn't have happened. Come on, man. How do you think people survived when they were fighting the wars back in Roman days, or even prior to that? Like when they were going hard, brutal power. Come on, man. They were still getting up, right? They might throw the sword burning on their wound or something, but they still walking. They still got reputation, especially some of the great ones, right, that you hear about. They got that reputation. But the point of any story I tell you about my life or anything, it's just I'm no perfect dude. I just have a passion for understanding what our purpose is. And now in my life, I can say with confidence that I totally comprehend what our purpose is. And our purpose is exactly this. It's like we came here for a reason. What's that reason? The reason is to recognize the love that can only save you and everybody else. And within that life that you have, right? You got one life to live. If that's true, if that's a true state, time is short, life is too short. If all this stuff is true, then why are we bullshitting with illusions? Why are we bullshitting with games? Right? Why are our excuses if we don't have enough money to feed those people? Hey, can you donate money so we could bring it to this other country? We don't even have things fixed here. Right? And not saying we shouldn't help somewhere else, but there's stages. Like it's almost like probably how the citizens used to look at Rome, right? When Rome was first a concept, when Rome was first an idea, right? And all these soldiers are going out fighting this enemy just to get the freedom to hold down another people group, right? To put someone else in their shoes, right? Like I always say about slavery, the first slave, if there was slavery like that, the first slave was a child. It was the person's child had a slave. Or if you want to look at it like an Adam and Eve kind of concept, all the people are starting to populate the earth and stuff. there was sooner or later, there was this one group that was like, yeah, they're going to be, hey, you're going to do the work. That's what happens. Right. So if white man, I don't believe that white man went over to Africa and took no slaves. I think Africans came over to America and sold some slaves, or even, you can say all them ships with Christopher Columbus, the Mayweather, or what is it? Whatever it is, whatever that is. Okay. I don't even want to know that information anymore because I know it's BS, but whatever that is, yes. Okay. That could have happened too. The first commodity was people, right? I was just watching Gladiator, and there's a part in Gladiator where the guy is fixing up Maximus, and he's like, man, don't die, because they're just going to feed you to the lions, because the lions are worth more than us. And then when he made the deal to get by Maximus, he bought the lions, the animals, for $2,000 more than the dudes. And that's it. He bought the animal for $4,000, and he bought the dudes for $1,000. That's how much was the commodity. Just like in like if you watch the movie Abraham Lincoln, not the vampire Abraham Lincoln, but Abraham Lincoln, like about slavery and how they were trying to pass the amendment and stuff, you'll see there was people like the one family. They were mad as heck. Oh no, that wasn't. That was the movie Harriet. Watch the movie Harriet. Harriet Tubman, the new one, the newest one, Harriet. That one, the one. Because I guess the original master died, and it was the son taking over, and then it was his mom. His mom was so livid. We can't let them free. We're gonna lose this much money. They're $2,600, shit like that. They took the one chick's son or something was like, we're selling him for $1,200. Like what? Yes, and listen, people sell drugs that kill people, right? And I'm not knocking drug dealers. There's pharmaceutical companies that sell drugs that kill people. I'm not knocking pharmaceutical companies, but what are they doing it for? Right? What is anyone pursuing to be a lawyer for? What is anyone pursuing to be a doctor for? What is anyone pursuing to be anything for? Right? There was a time in our history, recent history, that firefighters used to start fires because there wasn't enough fires. I'm just saying, do some serious work. Like how many, like if you think there's one cop that hid some evidence, like that means the system's broken, the system don't work. What do? Keep going with that system. Is like having a bike that's broken and the wheels bent, right? I ain't gonna say the chain's broken, the wheels bent. So you keep trying to pedal this bent ass wheel, and this the whole time, the whole time you're going down the damn street. Does that make sense? Right? But that's in essence what we're doing in life when we're doing the things we're doing in life. Unless there's going to be a change, right? That's why we got to wake up and realize, you know what? We got to find a better way, right? We're in 2020, all that industry stuff and, trying to get the workforce going is over. There's not even enough jobs to fit everyone that needs to work. That's the problem, right? And that's always going to be the problem, because if it wasn't the problem, then they want to have turnovers at jobs, right? There should be a better policy on companies firing people, right? You shouldn't have to go through some lawyer process and hire a lawyer to help defend you, to fight the people. Even when they say free lawyers, trust me and believe, they still trying to charge you something. Just like when you go to court, your right is to have counsel. They're supposed to provide it for you, but nowadays you got to fill out an application and it costs you $200. Like, where's your rights? You're giving these things authority, and they're only things. Right? The government is only a freaking word. Let's talk about the people that are a part of it. Right? We can say the government sucks, the government's this, but let's talk about the people that are doing it. We're using it as, the government. Like, that's the enemy. The enemy is the people inside the damn building, in essence, because they're not caring about us, the people they're supposed to care about. Right? Even in the coronavirus things, this is the problem that I have with the whole corona thing. Besides the vaccine side of it, every state was doing something different, right? My brother-in-law went from Jersey to Florida throughout the pandemic to go see my sister's oldest son, and he went. I think he said he stopped in South Carolina or in North Carolina, and the clerk almost pulled a gun on his ass because he got a mask on. Not that he didn't pull the gun. I'm exaggerating. But he was like, he looking at him funny and said something like, hey, why you got that mask on? Okay. In that area, if you had a mask on, meant you had corona. So now if Jersey is like, you got to have a mask on and 6 feet. And like, listen, I was a security officer at an amusement park, and the biggest headache was the mask. We tell people, and that this is our job, right? It's our policy. Hey, you got to have your mask. And granted, it was a state law as well. You got to have your mask up. F you, bro, I'm outside. But you're around other people. Come on, man. I don't want to fight with you. But this is how people react to me, right? And my fellow workers. But this is not just me and my fellow workers. This is all over the world, right? It was, and granted, we were cooped up. We were locked down for a minute. But this, that's why I always say, look at movies like the new one that I just seen with Greenland and War of the Worlds, or even not Independence Day wasn't bad. As far as people, how people treat other people in times of despair, in times of like annihilation, right? The whole Greenland is a comet coming to Earth and it's going to annihilate everyone. And they only select few to survive. How does that make sense? But we agree to it. Like, yeah, and most of us are saying we believe in a God. Yeah, I believe in God. But you know what? Let me get on that list. And we're charging the fences and trying to get in. Hell, we got to go too. But you chose to have these people, and you gave them authority to choose special people that get to go, and you don't get to go because you're not special people. Right? It's like the whole protection of the president, but who's protecting anyone else? Right? And if you work for the president, you gotta sign a paper saying I'm gonna die for him. Is he worth dying for? Because he doesn't think you're worth dying for. Is that not truth? Right? Are you worth dying for him, but yet he's not worth dying for you? That's almost like that's the leader I want to follow. I don't want to follow any other leader. I want to follow that leader. I want to follow leaders that's ready to go to the battlefield with me, not against me. Right? I just want to do me. So if that's the case, that's what we got to do. That's a true leader. That's a true anything. All right. So I did you know to explain that was easy? But look into that. If you didn't watch it, watch it. Is the video named the same thing as this almost? Definitely do your history and the stuff you're going to do history. Like, look at what you're looking at. All right. Remember that the good news is you're somebody. And even though you think you're nobody, you're still somebody. No matter what. At least to life, you're somebody. And to respect that life is awesome. And if you respect that life will respect you back. Even if there's hardships, right? The hardship is only temporary. You're going someplace else. Right? And it's evident. No matter what show you're watching. Right? Bigfoot is still Bigfoot. Ghosts are still ghosts, even though no one has proven anything. I don't care how many sensors or special equipment they have to listen to noises. It's not going down like that. And bears stand up in the woods, so sometimes you get just a view. I'm saying I hope there was something out there. They ain't trying to hear us though. But it's like aliens. It's like, are only crazy ass people in the middle of America and government officials allowed to see aliens? That don't make sense. That's why. How can you believe in stuff you can't see or prove yourself? It's called propaganda, and they know this, right? And they do it on purpose because now you got to go with what they tell you. Right? If Einstein says E equals MC squared, but yet they say Einstein was illiterate, got to go with it. Right? Newton wasn't the only. If you didn't know gravity before Newton, right? Like, how did we get to where we are if that's what we're going through? It doesn't make sense. Definitely doesn't make sense. Yeah, I think that's it. I am going soon, probably in a few weeks. I'm gonna do a couple more videos of like just general stuff. Then I'm gonna start proving the point of Jesus. Like, do a little Bible study of the 4 Gospels. Show exactly what Jesus said and how to discern what he says, because you have to discern it with love, right? Anything in life, you have to. That's knowing your fruit. Know a person by their fruit is love. If you know a shady ass person that's being shady to someone else, it's only sooner or later they're gonna be shady to you. Right? If you're doing bank jobs with a murderer, so he might murder you in the bank job. Right? Right? It's the movie concepts, right? These are really, in essence, the ideologies we truly live is these movie concepts, right? Where was the bank robber 400 years ago? Right? Where was the doctor 500 years ago? Where was anything that we think is something today? right? There's ancient things and all types of ancient civilizations that show flying things and right and conehead people. But the conehead people could be explained. People did that to themselves. Definitely be explained. Just like I think in one of the Chinese or Japanese conditions, they tie their feet up or something. They bind their feet, right? Or the tribes people that have the big things in their mouths and stuff, or extend their lips, or the Egyptians with their necklace things trying to extend their necks. Or that might have been Egyptian. But that's the thing. Um, that's why you got to look deeper, right? Just like the pyramids used to be theories of tombs, and now they're theories that they used to give power, like Tesla, right? That's why there's a Tesla vehicle, just to distract you from the truth that's going to be coming out about Tesla, even though the truth is there. There's nobody's really looking at it, but it's out there. You just got to see it. There's actually a show. What's the name of the damn show? It might have been called Unearthed. And they did it. They lit light bulbs off the grass. Crazy. They lit light bulbs off just like Tesla. Tesla in his day in the 1800s, he lit light bulbs in his hands, on the stage, on the floor, all over the place. Right? But see, here comes a Thomas Edison type dude that wants to make profit. Tesla was definitely a dude that just wanted to give it to the world, man. And honestly, all the systems of the world today, I'm talking about Wi-Fi, electricity, everything is Tesla. Straight up. So look into him. That'll give you some. It'll have you nutty too with numbers. But look into that. 369. You learn a lot. You learn a whole lot. A whole lot. That's it. You know what? Thank you for watching. I love you guys. Peace be with you always. And I'll see you next time. And hopefully I'll finish that video soon. Like I said, I'm gonna be coming at science with their own information. Like just for an example, I was just looking up how they know the age of the Earth. And they tell you the number. It's like 4 billion or something years, 100 years. And they said give or take 50,000 years. I'm just saying, like, there's so, like, if you look at what they, like, just like science is an equation. Observation plus experiment equals what they're going to tell you is the facts. And if nobody was here to observe or experiment, how could you ever tell us? And it's proven all the time in the science world, where they do these core samples and they find something that's irregular to what they think it should be. They'll find something else in between it. Like, you got to know weather. You got to know if it was raining that day, so to speak. You got to know a whole bunch of elements, right? And then, when we look at the carbon and stuff, even that's a guesstimate. Everything's a guesstimate. That's the craziest thing. Everything's a guesstimate. The Bible's a guesstimate. Everything's a guesstimate. No one knows for sure. And the only way to know for sure, you know what? I'm going to do that video tomorrow or the next day. How do you know for sure? Right? Because I want to really stress why I believe in Jesus, how Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life, without the Christian background. Without Jesus wasn't a Christian. That's as simple as I could say that. Right? And Paul was the first one preaching that was called a Christian. And that's in Acts, the book of Acts in that Bible. So there's their proof that the Christian was called a Christian by Paul. And with that, I'll see you guys next time. Love you. Thank you for watching. Thanks for hanging in there. Freedom fighter. Love you, man. And peace be with you all. I'll see you again soon.